Welcome to the Rise Up For You podcast, where thought leaders, entrepreneurs, and executives from around the world share their practical tips, strategies, and stories to help you unleash your potential and achieve your goals. Your journey of growth to become your best starts now.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Rise Up For You podcast. This is your host, Nedalina Nasruddin, and I am super excited to be tuning in from Vegas. And actually, our guest is from Vegas today, too. And it's such an honor to have you here, Leslie Kalyn. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much. It's so great to be here. We are Zooming, even though we are in the same city.
Right? I know. It's crazy. Well, I'm super excited to have you here. Leslie is going to be an amazing guest. We have a lot to talk about. But before we jump in, I always love our guests. So just tell us a little bit about yourself. I always say brag to the audience. So please do.
Okay, sure. I'll brag a little bit. I don't do that very often. So here's my moment. So I am from Canada originally. I have my bachelor's in nursing at the University of Alberta, moved to the US, immigrated, just myself and my husband at the time. I have my master's degree as a family nurse practitioner, and I have my doctoral degree in nursing practice. So I wanted to go all the way to be Dr. Kalyn, or Dr. Leslie, as a lot of people sort of the branding name, to really be able to bring innovative ideas, concepts in health, wellness, and well-being to the community. So I'm a researcher, but I'm also a human, and I really like practical solutions like life hacks to making our life better. I'm really been dedicated my whole life to my journey of personal development and finding my highest potential. And in my years and years practicing as a nurse practitioner, my research, doing executive work, working with coaching clients, and my own journey back to myself, spiritual journey, if you will, I've really developed a comprehensive understanding of the break people have in their blueprint, if they will, like the challenges of the human condition. And through my many, many experiences, hardships and triumphant moments in time, been able to really practically, efficiently, and effectively create strategies and a path forward to really defy the odds and then achieve the life you really want. So that's me in a nutshell.
Yeah. And I love what you're saying, because oftentimes in life, we're taught a lot of the technical skills, right? Of, how to make money, but no one really teaches us how to do life, right?
Exactly.
And we think that we'll learn through experience, but more and more like that, it just doesn't work that way. Common sense isn't common practice. So understanding, health, wellness, mindfulness, mentally, some of the things we're going to talk about today are so important. It's so funny, when you and I met in Vegas, we were connected through a friend. And then you said that you were from Alberta, Canada. And then you said specifically Edmonton. I'm like, what the heck? What a small world, because I have so much family in Edmonton. And we also have like a big community that listens to the podcast there too. So funny that we met in Las Vegas at a cafe. And we have that connection. So I really want to talk about well-being today. And I want to talk about meditation and just different practices that can help us slow down without losing efficiency or success. Because I think that sometimes in our society, they correlate the two, right? Like, if I slow down, if I don't go, I'm not going to be able to achieve the results and the success that I want to achieve. And I actually think it's the opposite. I think
it's totally the opposite.
So just jump in, talk to us about that, because it's really needed, especially now more than ever.
So this is such a beautiful topic, and I love it, because this is the conditioning, right? This is the human conditioning that we've become human doers. What happened to human beings, right? What people have really lost from keeping up with the Joneses or the American lifestyle is we need to do to be able to achieve. And yes, there is a very important piece of action, of doing to achieve. However, people are putting the cart before the horse. What we need to do is we need to slow down. We want to have a very full, abundant, happy, successful life that is authentic, that's easy, that allows us to have the enjoyment. That is our ultimate, and we can absolutely have that. And people forget those very important pieces. They achieve, they do, and then they're sick and they have all the things and they have no fulfillment. So the key to having all of the things, you can have the abundance and more so, is by getting into a place of stillness. So meditation, and people just like, they go, oh, they cringe at the word meditation because I don't know how to do it. And this way doesn't work, that way doesn't work. And I can't, Meditation, firstly, can happen in so many different ways. You can do active meditation, you can do guided, you can focus on one thing. It's not like that classic Zen meditation that is truly boring and difficult and really you need to have experience for. It's about getting quiet, connecting with your body, because your body is constantly telling you things, telling you your limits and your boundaries. And that's where your intuition lives, your guidance center that tells you what's right for you and not. That really is where we need to be operating more from. And that stillness and tapping into the different levels of consciousness actually is where those geniuses, that if you really go back in history and you look at the people who have created the most brilliant inventions and music and artistry and ideas in technology, it's happened in those moments of stillness.
Yeah.
The problem is the majority of people are so disconnected from their creativity, which happens in these altered kind of places, these quiet mind places. They don't know, they just don't know how to tap into it. So they can't access it. Those people who tend to be more creative have this natural knack for it. And really it is a form of meditation or presence or mindfulness. So what I offer to people and invite them to do, if they really want to skyrocket their success, but also with the added benefit of real fulfillment and joy, is you need to start with getting quiet, because in that quiet stillness, you can unlock all of those mysterious, magical aspects of yourself that we've demonstrated repeatedly. People have demonstrated repeatedly in history. That's magic. That's golden. That's where you can really take yourself to the next level.
It's interesting that you say that. And I also appreciate you breaking down that meditation can look like a number of different things, because I'll be honest and say that, like sitting down and meditating, cross-styled for an hour for me was like, whoa, like this isn't going to happen.
Nope.
And so I started, and I didn't know it was meditation, but I made a commitment years ago where I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to have my cup of coffee, my favorite drink, and I'm just going to sit in silence, like no technology, no like extra stimulation other than just the environment, right? Like sit in silence. And that did miracles for me. And then later I started to hear like, oh, that could be a form of meditation, right? Like just sitting with your breath and body. So I love that you're introducing individuals to other ideas that, aren't what we typically think, which is, again, sitting in cross style, on a pillow in a Zen room with candles, right? It can just be allowing yourself to not have consumption.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, exactly. I actually really push people who are really newbies. Like I work with a lot of clientele that are very successful and they really want to kind of come back to themselves. So they want to get that fulfillment. So you don't have to have a breaking down of your life like many people do. You can just add and kind of get to the next level. And those people are very much in their head. They're doers, and it's good. Let's bank on that. So we don't want to completely flip them on their head. So what I have them do is do more active meditation. So for me, when I was doing a gazillion things at once, I learned how to do meditation when I was on the bike. I would be on my little bike because it's routine. Your body mechanics know how to do it. And I would put music on and I would visualize and I would do these guided meditations and I would get really deep, but my body is still moving. And so I was, no extra time. When there's net time, you consolidate. So you can be active, you can be out in nature, you can be, doing something else physically, which connects you with your body because you have to breathe when you're on the bike. And even just breathing on the bike is meditating, listening to your heartbeat. You don't even have to do a guided meditation. That is training your brain to focus on a single thing. And that's what people miss. Meditation just means focusing on a single thing. It doesn't mean no thoughts. It doesn't mean guided meditation. It doesn't mean any of those things other than just being able to be focused and still. You'll observe things happening, observe the thoughts come and go. You just don't want to get attached and start thinking.
Yeah.
So that comes in many, many different forms. So I'm such a huge advocate. See, I'm all about life hacks and practicality, right? Practical, efficient, and effective. So if meditation looks like your cup of coffee and savoring and drinking and tasting all the flavors and feeling it as it goes into your stomach, that is very good training. It's a meditative experience. It's presence. And really, that's what we're trying to get to also with meditation. Isn't just stilling the mind so you can access those really cool, creative levels of consciousness. It's also about being able to be still and present in day-to-day life, because when you can be present, or the being of presence, you see things, you experience things in a completely expanded way. It's hard to put into words if you haven't experienced it, but when you can just be completely in the moment, your emotions don't, get a hold of you. You can feel, sense, experience joy and bliss. We miss so much when we're in our head. And when we can just be still, I mean, there are wondrous and magical things that are happening around us all the time. And those are those beautiful sort of reinforcement of our power as individuals and nudges of where we need to go next. That moment of presence, and you hear the birds singing, or you hear the winds blow by. That might all of a sudden strike some epiphany or an idea.
Yeah. And I'm hearing you speak, and there's so many things that, come to mind. But yes, creating that presence for stillness, for self-awareness, right? And also being attuned to the things that are happening around you. I mean, the amount of times I'll say, "Oh, do you know who is sitting behind you?" Right? And they're a family member. No, I have no idea. I'm like, "Oh, it's your mom." Because we're always go, go, go. And, I do a lot of work. The company Rise Up For You, we do a lot of work with corporations and executives and entrepreneurs on like just being your best to make an impact. And we talk a lot about emotional and social intelligence to make influence. And what people don't realize is that what you're talking about right now, which is this mindfulness and the connectedness and the peace and like the calmness, is what helps drive more efficiency as a leader, because now you have space to react in a way that's going to be beneficial for all parties. Now you have the presence as an entrepreneur to read the room, to see like, how can you serve your clients or your audience to your best? And if we don't get that piece in, then I strongly believe that our self-awareness, our self-worth, and our success is going to be limited by the go, 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 go reactive mode that isn't going to be like super beneficial to our overall success.
Absolutely. And it's exhausting functioning that way. Hence why so many people are sick, and we're seeing so much more disease, particularly stress related and inflammation related diseases, because we're focusing from this fight or flight, and it's very hard on our system. So we talk about the physical piece, to be operating from that reactive moment, because your adrenaline is going. It's a physiologic response. So when you're in that, we know that meditation is so powerfully relaxing and positive, has positive, not just mental, but physical effects in our body. So you being present not only allows you to react in a way that's conscious and observing it at a higher level as a leader, it's actually so powerful and positive for your physical body to react from that way. So when we talk about meditation being so powerful and why I'm such an advocate, it's not just because it's a thing that you're supposed to do for enlightenment. Yes, people have used that. It is so critical to be the best that you can be as a leader, the best person you can be in terms of responding and achievement, but also it's doing yourself a massive favor physiologically. You want vitality, you can have it all. Like people, they want to have everything. They can't have everything in that old modality of just reacting and responding and being in their head. We know it doesn't work. That presence, that meditation, that ability to just really connect inwards is the key that unlocks your ability to really have it all. And that's why I'm pushing this. And this is why it's so important. And I want to speak so much. And I drive it home with my clients because it literally is the key and the pathway to that limitless life that everybody wants.
Yeah, and also the connectivity, right? We're more disconnected now than we've ever been, even though we have more means of connection because we don't, there's so many individuals that are chasing that they've lost their own sound of their own voice or their own heartbeat, or they have no idea who they are, where they are, or where they're landing, right? So even that mindfulness piece of just getting you to build the relationship with yourself first, right? And especially with artificial intelligence, I think a lot of people are worried about AI coming, and I mean it's here, but continuing to come in technology, and recognizing that artificial intelligence and technology aren't bad if we just understand that we need to balance it with these very human mindful techniques that can help us stay connected to who we are as, you mentioned it earlier, human beings, not doing beings or career beings, I like to call, right? But
Yes.
a whole human being.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very interesting phenomena that, we're in this time of massive expansion as people, what we can do in our capacity, like our intellectual ability to understand these concepts and be able to really control our mind and our brain activity. But then all of this artificial piece, the technology that could really stop that. And we really need to see the balance between the two. Like you were saying, we can allow the technology to do the things that we don't necessarily need to utilize our time on and connect with ourselves, and then allow us to be the creative beings that we are. Really, that's where this evolutionary piece is going to, is technology is important and vital. And let's just be smart about how we utilize it to do the things that the doing part of the human process, and allow us to tap into our connectedness and be creative so that we can better use the technology that's at hand. So it's just, we have to understand all of the things, not be afraid of it. We just need to see the bigger perspective. Okay, how do we utilize this to our advantage? But it really, again, comes down to, okay, to understand that we need to know that this is serving us to connect inwards, to connect with people, to connect with a higher sort of version of ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. Leslie, thank you so much. This has been a great conversation and something that is very much needed, again, especially today. And, having the highest, anxiety, depression, suicide rate we've seen across the board, by the way. I know a lot of people talk about it with the iGen or the younger generation, but research actually shows that it's with the younger generation, it's with professionals, and it's with elderly. So really understanding these mindfulness practices and mental well-being, it's super critical now more than ever. I'd love to jump into the power section of our interview. I'm just going to ask you some rapid fire questions. I know. So if you were to leave, we always say, if you were to, God forbid, something were to happen and you were to leave the earth today, what would be like one final golden nugget you would leave for everyone?
Oh, that's a good one. Truly, I would want everyone to commit to their personal development journey. And really, it's just pretty much everything that I've been saying today. Connect with yourself, get quiet, and really connect with who you are, live authentically, and trust yourself and your inner guidance. And literally the path will show up for you like magic.
Yeah. And here at Rise Up For You, one of our main things is all about values, right? Values are so important. So what's a value for you that's a non-negotiable?
Oh, a value in life, in
Yeah, whatever comes up for
actions.
you. Yeah.
Value authenticity.
Mm-hmm.
I value authenticity. I think freedom and authenticity. So freedom is like the freedom of expression, which is an authentic expression of self. So those are the most important to me.
And I have one more question for you, but before I ask, tell us a little bit about how we can find you if people are interested in learning more. I know you have like a membership going on and you also have a podcast. So please share a little bit more about how we can connect with you.
Yes, absolutely. So for my personal development business, Breaking Through, Journey Back to Yourself or Journey Back to You, you can find it at lesliekalyn.com. You can always email me if you're interested in the elite membership, where I work one-on-one with my select exclusive clientele. You can just email me for the application, leslie@lesliekalyn.com. I have a podcast, yes, that I just sort of reformulated everything. I'm always evolving. I love it. It's the Next Level Podcast with Dr. Leslie. You can find it on Spotify, Apple, all the major platforms. And it is basically on social media at the Next Level Podcast LV. And it is pretty much everything from personal development, life hacks, vitality, everything and anything to really help you unlock your next level in life. And there's always another level to achieve.
I totally agree with that. Leslie, thank you so much for joining us. As you know, final question, we are the company and the brand Rise Up For You. What comes to mind for you when you hear that phrase?
Oh, that's wonderful. Rise Up For You, I feel, is empowering yourself. It's about making choices for you. Again, it's all about authenticity. It's living your highest life. I mean, you're rising up, you're standing, you're taking a stand saying, this is me, this is about me, this is for me. I'm going to be my best self and I'm going to share it with the world.
I love that. Leslie, thank you so much for joining us here in Las Vegas, both of us coming from Las Vegas. And thank you everyone for again, tuning into the Rise Up For You podcast. Whether you're listening to us in the car, watching us on YouTube, it's always an honor to have you here. And so I will see you on our next episode. And remember that we are bringing amazing thought leaders, guest entrepreneurs from around the world to help you be your best and truly reach your potential. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Leslie.
Thank you.
My name is Natalie.